Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian and V Strong Style. So no, file one after the reigning defending MPX Tag Team Champions, of course, Stargirl. Let us geek about it for a scant few minutes. This is chapter 6, and while I said the last episode to me seemed like the mid-season finale, which I don't know why shows at like episode 8 are called like mid-season finale, but I thought last episode could have been that way because they got exposed to Eclipso and realized, oh crap, we're a bit outgunned, outmanned dealing with this. But nope, I was wrong. It is this episode that lays out just how overmatched, outgunned, outmanned they are against this evil entity that is Eclipso. Now, episode begins with Cindy's little Injustice Society 2.0 doing some stalkery stuff, going to kind of mess with Fiddler Jr. goes to mess with Yolanda at her waitressing job, which she apparently sucks at. Artemis went to go mess with Beth, who was, of course, unsuccessfully trying to repair her parents' marriage, which, like, she says, you know, it's not okay with her what's going on. And again, that type of storyline just really kind of hits hits me in the feels, because having gone through that with parents that split up, and you know, look at the stats on divorce rates in this country these days, and I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people out there watching, old, young. I mean, so many people are touched by divorce. So having that kind of storyline going on with Beth, it really hits you at times. And then seeing her when she was waiting for her dad kind of get unnerved by the picture of Icicle up there on the wall, which again, it's like everybody thinks he's good, which again, we kind of get another dose of that when Courtney and Pat are at the school. They're cleaning up the teacher's classroom, paint's all over the walls when Eclipso was in his brain, and Cam comes in. Teacher was a friend of his. He's all dejected, and he's kind of wondering why bad things in this town keep happening to good people, which the teacher was actually a good dude. He still is under the impression that his father was a good guy, which I'm really kind of wondering, when is he going to get smartened up to the fact that his dad was evil? Remains to be seen how that happens. So we have that kind of stuff going on. We see Mike and Zeke, and Mike again kind of wanting just to be more, to do more. With himself, with the JSA, with his father. Next, you know, he gets kidnapped by Cindy. Cindy places a call to Courtney to kind of lay out to set up this fight at the OK Corral type of thing that they're going to do, and they're going to throw down in the school. They also find out in the classroom that Cindy has Eclipso. So that's kind of solves one of the problems that they have. Fight happens, and this was a highlight of the episode. Now, a knock on it for me was the wire foo got a little bit annoying at times. Outside of that, just it was just, superhero and supervillain fisticuffs. I love that. That's what we're here for. That's why we had the slow burn up into this point in this episode. They just let everything hang out, and I love that. Love that about this show. It's like you were waiting for it. We were just waiting for the junior JSA to meet up with the junior ISA. The fight between Artemis and Hourman, that was brutal. I mean, they trashed so much of the school, so many sets. I bet you that had to be hugely fun to film. And the scene as it played out, it just reminded me of James Bamford and his style. James Bamford is a prolific stunt director. He directed a couple whole episodes of Arrow, but chiefly in I think the first couple seasons, he was mostly like the stunt guy. And just a lot of the camera movements and the swooshing around, the panning, and just the zooms, and some of the stuff that they were doing, some of the transitions from, say, Hourman and Artemis fight to Wildcat and Fiddler. Some of the stuff just reminded me of his style, just that kinetic sort of movement. There's movement all the time, and but it's controlled movement. It's fluid movement. It's not like just haphazard. There's a rhyme and a reason. There's a ballet movement almost to how this is playing out and to how it's shot. Again, with the wire foo stuff, got kind of corny when Courtney was surfing on the little staff. It's a little bit corny. But again, it's comic book stuff. I mean, if you saw that on a comic book page, you wouldn't blink an eye. Seeing it in live action, the way they kind of shot it was like, oh, that's kind of corny, but it's from a comic book. I'll allow it because the rest of the stuff playing out, freaking amazing. So JSA comes out on top. Basically, They confront Cindy, who's like, screw it, I'll do it myself, takes out the diamond, and we find out that Eclipso basically needed the staff to break the diamond to thus break him out. He breaks out, we see him, apparently kills Fiddler by sucking him up. He uses a piece of the diamond to suck Cindy down into the floor to parts unknown. Barb contacted Shade back at the hospital to let him know who had the black diamond. Shade's like, okay. He shows up. I saw some people on some boards kind of wondering why he wasn't in his top hat and stuff like that. But there he was in his full-on Shade outfit. So that was cool to see, and just him, he got his butt kicked by the Eclipso too, because apparently his powers come from Eclipso's dimension. So Eclipso was just laying waste to everybody. He got injured by the staff and then had to dip out. And then we see him at the end of the episode turn back into that kid that we saw in the beginning of the season, that kid form that he has, which was just inherently creepy with the laugh, and just kids are creepy, especially when they're like little evil Satan possessed type of kids. So they're just creepy. And it kind of goes with the whole kind of creep, supernatural, horror-ish kind of vibe that they're going with this season. So I like that, enjoy that. And the family coming together at the end, just be a family as they're recovering, kind of processing what happened. Mike realizing that he needs to step his game up. He was kidnapped, he was used as bait. Thought Mike was going to be part of pulled in. I thought he was going to be pulled into the ISA. Maybe Eclipso was going to be used through him to kind of get him to fight the other guys inside Stripe. Again, to kind of even the odds, but you know, that wasn't a thing because they took out Stripe, which of course you expect because it's a budget thing. But Mike was just bait. So Mike just realizing he's just tired of being helpless, and threw it out there, he's scared of Eclipso and what Eclipso can do, and he wants to be able to protect himself. So Pat's like, we'll rebuild Stripe, and he's like, no, I want my own Stripe. So I'm kind of wondering what his little Stripe 2 is going to look like. His Stripe 2.0. And then you see Yolanda, Beth, and Rick kind of conferring together, processing as well what happened with Eclipso, what happened to Fiddler's kid, Fiddler 2, Fiddler Jr., whatever we're going to call him, and Cindy, and just kind of realizing that they need to kill Eclipso, because otherwise he's going to be out there feeding and just growing and stuff like that. So this was the episode that I thought last week's episode was, as far as just, this might as well have been a two-parter. I know that the season is called like Summer School, and this is like chapter 1, chapter 2, yada, yada, yada. And this is chapter 6. I think if this was like regular episode titles, last week would have been Eclipso Part 1 or Eclipso Rises Part 1, something Eclipso related Part 1, and this would have been Part 2. That's what it felt like. This episode and last episode belong like together, like narratively speaking. And it just raises the stakes. It kind of lays out the big bad for the season, kind of shows us that our heroes are, like I said, overmatched, outgunned, overpowered. What are they going to do to stop this guy? What can they do? So we're wondering that as an audience. They're wondering that as characters on this show. So I'm anxious to kind of see where it goes from here. This show is so good. I've said it many, many times. I will say it ad nauseum. Stargirl is the best superhero show going today. And it's easily got to be a top 5, if not top 3 superhero shows of all time at this point. It still could go on for another couple seasons, maybe have like a jump the shark moment with Arrow, which happened in a lot of season 3, season 4, and other seasons that came along after that. Flash kind of went off the rails years ago. Legends of Tomorrow, as much as it was my favorite show for the longest time, the last couple seasons have been just crap, and I just haven't really wanted to watch it. I mean, there's 5 or 6 episodes I need to catch up on at some point in time, and there's no rush on me on it. Much as I love Katie Lotz, I think the show sucks now, so it just doesn't appeal to me. Supergirl, don't know about that because I don't watch it outside of the crossovers and guest appearance, stuff like that, which Diggle is going to be on the show, so I got to check that. But at this point in time, Stargirl is the best thing going, and if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's great. It's got just well done characters. It's just got some good action when they want to ratchet it up outside of the wire foo stuff, which you just gotta let the actors, stuntmen, just do what they do and look awesome doing it. You don't need some of this just weird, like, I think there was a I think a shot where Artemis was like on the ground, maybe she kipped up or something, and it was just, instead of just like straight kip up, she like got up and then twirled in the air, like kind of did a half little twirl, something that was wire related, that was unnecessary. So I just hate stuff like that. It's like you don't need to do it, but it is what it is. It didn't take away from the overall effect of the fight, which it was a phenomenal action sequence. Before I go watch it numerous times because it was just so great. But overall, the show is great. Can't wait for the next episode. Can't wait to see how things shake out. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me, social media, Twitter, Instagram. It's all Sebastian Envy. Give me a follow. Till next time, let us geek.